One time for your mind. DJ George Chuck checking in, and it is Tuesday night, Tuesday, September 24th. Mr. Mac will not be with us tonight. He's got some business to handle, but you know that, in the words of King George, one monkey don't stop no show. That thing gonna keep on rolling. Tonight we'll be unpacking the racist police practices that have been taking place in Rankin County, or the alleged, as the legal community, or the Negroes that think they know how to be lawyers would say. Okay, we're gonna get it done. Nightcap Knowledge. You put some on your head before you go to bed. DOJ investigates Rankin County. We're gonna talk about it. We got CJ Lawrence Esquire pulling up on us. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is Nightcap Knowledge. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, snakes and frogs. Welcome to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge, and I'm gonna zoom back out because they still don't have his damn studio set up. I'm shaming you. I am shaming you because you ain't got your damn studio set up.
No, yes, Ciento, doggy. I do not have my studio set up tonight. There's no studio here tonight.
Tonight. Man. We need a studio, man. We need that. We need that ASAP.
Yeah. I'm in the room here.
I know.
Is it blue?
All right. Well, look, with Mr. Mac not being here, I'm not going to attempt to do his mental health minute. Although that we do value mental health, we want you to be happy, healthy, and black as you want to be. Even if you might be a person that is not melanated and you are trying to identify as black, we've dealt with those people too. And that's not to say we're gonna deal with you in a negative way, but we just want you to have a space and a place to come and be black with no chaser, man.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's all about thinking black and living black
unapologetically.
We definitely have some allies that have showed up and showed out over the years. So.
Yeah, most definitely. And look, man, we ain't so black that we can't realize who is for us and who is against us.
Yeah, that's
that part.
Hey,
yeah,
that's 100% facts, because we do know that sometimes even skin folk ain't kin folk. So
hello.
Yeah.
Hello. And I think that's a good mental health minute right there. We look at what we just did.
Hey, look, man, we work it out, man. Hey, man, we work it out for you, brother.
Yeah, we definitely gonna hold it down for Mr. Epps. I was about to call his whole name. You know how he feels about that. Well, look, we would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Let's see what comments we got. What's up, Trey? Checking in from Hattiesburg. Trey Trizzle, DJ Trizzle. Yeah, man, we appreciate you for tapping in with us. If you're out there and you would like to, get a shout out, please do let us know that you're there. There's Maisha checking in from the Magnolia. I'm about to say Macomb, Pike County area. There we go. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in with us. Now, look, man, I'm gonna tell y'all what the groove that I've been on. I've been reading a lot more. I am rereading The Fire Next Time. I am reading. I have no idea what Sabir is messaging me about. Hi, Sabir. It's Nightcap Knowledge.
What's up, Sabir?
He's individually messaging me. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But I watched Going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni project.
Oh wow.
I watched the American Society of Magical Negroes.
Yes.
And I also watched a film by this cat named Aaron S. It's like a docu-series type of situation. And he goes around to there's a beer. I knew he was like maybe messaging from the wrong side of the inbox, I guess. I am at the groove that I'm in right now. Yeah. It's like how are we in 2024 when we're supposed to be so advanced? Yeah. We are working with AI. Like we have AI incorporated into almost everything, right?
Yeah.
And we are dealing with the Goon Squad.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at like I can't even say duality or dichotomy or anything like that, because everything that I've looked at, everything that I've read has put me in this very reflective space of trying to figure out. And I don't think I can even figure it out. I think it's just like we just got to talk about it. We live in a world where the Goon Squad exists, where Nikki Giovanni exists, where there are people that truly operate as magical Negroes, like and really solve the problems of the world. And we live in a world where the young men that I watched in Aaron S.'s film, he titled, it was like a YouTube. It was at least an hour. Mississippi's most dangerous cities.
Oh, I think I've heard about that.
So Jackson, Natchez, and Moorhead.
I don't even know nothing about Moorhead.
Moorhead, like Moorhead State.
Moorhead Swag. Yeah.
Moorhead Swag. Exactly. So the reality that I saw, and I'm hoping I gotta get me some new headphones too. My in-ears are failing me. The reality that I saw through the filmmaker's eyes as we prepare to talk about the quote unquote law enforcement officers that are charged with protecting the peace, quote unquote. It is alarming for me to be able to see the Jackson that I know and love, and then to hear these young men talk about the Jackson that they represent, because they never said that they love their neighborhood. They never said that they love Jackson. They never said that they loved Mississippi. They were they had very
well-informed opinions of Mississippi and their neighborhoods, but they knew that it was them against the police and whoever they perceived to be their ops.
Yeah. I mean,
and
yeah,
all of that exists. Like everybody that I just listed.
Yeah.
They all have their version of Mississippi that they believe to be true.
What's going on, Keith? Yeah, I mean, you make a good point, Chuck. I think that the Mississippi in the ways that it exists now,
yeah,
are not different than the Mississippi in the way that it has always existed. In the sense that, obviously, as we highlight Rankin County tonight, we still have a Jim Crow Mississippi with Jim Crow laws. We look at our state legislature, and we still have a state legislature with a conservative supermajority that still pushes and attempts to push many Jim Crow type of policy in 2024. And so we will certainly speak to that. We also have those who have been conditioned by the environment that we experience. It's no shock. You know, we all are well aware that Mississippi as a state currently in 2024 struggles in fields in areas like education, where we're often in the bottom 2 or 3. We struggle with poverty, where we're often in that bottom 2 or 3. We struggle with healthcare, where we're often in that bottom 2 or 3. And so, just like in the 1960s, even when folks in many ways banded together to try to create things that would allow them to protect themselves from the environment or protect their neighborhood, if you will. I'm not saying that that all of the actions are justified. I'm just saying this is how we get here, and that this is no different today than it was at the time that someone decided, hey man, we're going to band together for this purpose, and we're going to found this organization, and this organization is going to be for this purpose, and maybe it deviated from that. And you also have things like organized crime. These days, people are, as a direct response to things like poverty, trying to figure out how they're going to make things happen. And a lot of times they don't necessarily want to go the route, the traditional route, the legit route. So folks will try to find alternatives to that. What I'll say, Chuck, is that Mississippi often has just cultivated in a lot of ways the conditions that exist today, both through its policy and just in the cultural way that oppression is ingrained into Mississippi's culture and history. And so Mississippi is often the place that other systemic oppressors look to model its systemic oppression. So that's a thing that I think about, and that brings us really to Rankin County.
Yeah, it does. And what we're talking about tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the Department of Justice has launched an investigation into Rankin County Sheriff's Department, based on they've been characterized as the Goon Squad and the Rankin Six, because I believe that 5 of the individuals who are prosecuted and sentenced to jail were Rankin County Sheriff's officers, and then there was one police officer from a municipality inside of Rankin County. And it's been in the news. A lot of media outlets, websites, blogs, news outlets are covering it. And also even the Rankin County Sheriff's Office. And I guess what I'll do, I see that they have something on their Facebook page. And I'll just read it. Their Facebook page says that we've increased our agency's transparency by placing our policies and procedures in addition to our compliments and complaints portal on the Sheriff Department's website. We will continue this transparency and will fully cooperate with all aspects of the investigation while also welcoming DOJ's input into our updated policies and practices. Now,
bullshit. Bullshit, dog.
Nah.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I was like, I said, okay, all right. And then I looked down. I saw one, the post didn't get that much engagement, right? And this is coming from a person that that CJ has made an admin over the Black Window Chaser Facebook page. Like, we know engagement. Like, yes. Engagement and action has been cultivated inside of the Black Window Chaser platforms on whatever social media network you want to call into action. Now, it has only been shared 3 times. There are 5 people that have laughed at it with the ha-ha emoji. And then there are about 10 people that have given it the thumbs up. Now,
yeah.
In the words of the young man who I love to quote all the time, and I don't even know this young man's name, but you just quoted him. A bullshit.
Yes, dog. A bullshit, dog. Like that is world-class PR speak.
That is look. That is
got caught doing the shit we knew we was doing anyway.
Dog, that is textbook public information officer tactic.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Dog, I mean, and the reality is we know for certain, we know as young men who attended Tougaloo College and have lived in the Jackson, Mississippi area.
I was going to bring that up.
Familiar with the area for over 20, almost 25 years.
That's right.
Rankin County has been notorious for its behavior and the way that it profiles Black folk in particular, the way that it arrests. As an attorney, I have seen the disproportionate. Rankin County is one of the reasons why I created Black Window Chaser, because I saw the disproportionate way in which Black folks who don't make up 80% of the county made up 80% of the people being prosecuted in court, whether it was municipal court, which is where misdemeanors are heard, or whether it was circuit court where the felonies are heard.
Right.
80% of Black folks wasn't the people breaking traffic laws in Rankin County, but 80% of the people were Black in traffic court. And so when you look at,
and a lot of times from some other municipality.
Absolutely. And they will watch. If you came into Rankin County with a Hines County tag, you best believe they were paying attention. They were being attentive to your Hines County tag coming into Rankin County, and they wanted to make you uncomfortable in their county.
Very much so. It was Rankin County's way of increasing their tax base without having to have you live inside of their municipality. That's exactly that's the way I look at it.
In Rankin County, Richland, Mississippi, on side of the courthouse building, there is a plaque that says generously paid for by money seized from, and I think it says drug dealers or something like that. But the reality is that we know that in Richland, Mississippi, They have, and one of the men in the goon squad was one of the Richland police. Richland police.
Yeah, Richland police. That's right. Yeah,
was one of the goon squad members. They have this tactic that they utilize where they say, "Well, your sticker on your tag was covered up," and this is how they
it was. Yeah, you had an Omega Sci-Fi runner on your tag.
On your tag, and so we weren't able to see it, and so we stopped. We pulled you over,
right,
as a result of that, and now we think we smell marijuana in your car.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, now you're before a court, arguing something that may or may not be true, as a result of a stop that was likely unconstitutional and unjustified. That resulted
and to be clear, in the particular case that we're discussing, by way of this investigation,
right?
Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker, it was decided in that particular case that the goon, quote unquote, goon squad did not have probable cause to enter their residence.
Right. It was a no warrant search and investigation, fake investigation that they conducted. That was not even any underlying crime that existed. They were literally just mad because evidently these black men were living in an apartment with a non-black woman, with a white woman, I think. And so they shook these dudes down, but they went beyond shaking them down. They literally assaulted them, sexually, and then went so far as placing a gun in one of the gentlemen's mouths and pulling the trigger, at which time the gun went off, and then they planted a what we call a drop gun or a dummy gun, but it was a pellet gun on one of them to make it look like this was a incident that was created in conflict. All of these things were determined to be true, and all of these officers were subsequently convicted. But it speaks to the deeper. There's a reason that these men feel emboldened to behave in this manner.
That is definitely the point I want to get to.
And it ain't no way in the world that a sheriff of a county would be unaware that this is happening within their jurisdiction, under their watch, that they would have no clue that this rogue group of police existed. And the reality is that while they may qualify or identify themselves as the goon squad, it's highly likely, Chuck, that these men simply represent a greater or broader mindset that exists within Rankin County. I think when you say you investigate Rankin County, I don't think you can just limit it to Rankin County Sheriff's Department, even though that's where they started. I think you got to investigate Rankin County Sheriff Department, Rankin County DA's office, Rankin County judges. You got to investigate Pearl. You got to investigate Richland. You got to investigate Brandon. You got to investigate on city by city.
The point that you're making, and you don't have to name all those individual departments. The quote unquote police brotherhood said we stick together.
Yeah.
The other part of it is this. My question, my point is, this is not something that comes out of nowhere. Like you don't get together at Firehouse Subs and be like, hey man, we finna go get them two dudes.
Right.
No. That doesn't happen. Like this don't happen over lunch. Like this is a developed behavior. Like this is a pattern. This is something like we don't just by happenstance stop in the middle of Highway 49 and be like, hey man, you want to go to the apartment complex and mess with some people?
Right.
Now, that's the ongoing action. My point is that there are always academies. There are law enforcement training academies where people go in and they say, or they make it to the point where they're in the academy and they say, I just want to serve my community.
Yeah.
How does a person that goes into a law enforcement training academy, and this is coming from a dude that worked with law enforcement executives, ask them the same questions. This is me. How do you get an academy recruit that comes in and says, I want to help make my community a better place, and then you get to the goon squad and it keeps happening?
Yeah. Well, I think that to be honest with you, Chuck, we understand that the impetus of policing in America directly has a root in slave patrols. Like this isn't a wives' tale. This is historical. There's historical lineage where we understand that slave patrols were the way in which what today has become policing in America had its impetus. Understanding that, we understand that in a lot of ways, the culture and mindset that shaped uh, policing from its inception still persist today. In a lot of ways, as you stated, it's fraternal in the way that they behave, which means they're passing down traditions from generation to generation, from year to year, and a lot of those things, to be quite honest with you, have not changed a whole lot from the 1800s to today. Except that they got more technology, and they got more ways to lie today. The reality is that if people, which is my hope, this is what my hope is that this Department of Justice investigation emboldens citizens from all over this state who have been subjected to the racism that is Rankin County begin to speak up and speak out. Let this moment make you brave enough to tell your story. When we shared that DOJ was beginning to conduct or declaring that they were going to be conducting an investigation on Rankin County to determine whether there's been an overuse of tasers, whether there's been an overuse of racial slurs against black folk, whether there's been assaults that have resulted. I have desired that people begin to speak up. Somebody said, I'm going to tell my story. I'm ready to tell my story is one of the comments that we got from somebody when we shared that is I'm ready to tell my story. And I told them, look, any way we can help you, any way that we can help you to feel empowered in telling your story, whether it's telling on our platform, whether it's writing the story out for you, whether it's directing you to people within the DOJ that can help you directly tell your story to them, we're willing to do that because the action is necessary and people need to know. They need to know what's happening. I'm sure that there are complaints that have been filed in Rankin County that disappeared into the abyss when somebody drove up there to the station to file a report, because the goon squad didn't become the goon squad the day that they committed this act, this act of atrocity again.
No, right. they absolutely had and to CNN's article, they're saying that the sheriff was first elected in Rankin County in 2011 and reportedly ignored complaints about the goon squad's violence for years.
I remember sitting on a panel with the Rankin County sheriff, the current Rankin County sheriff. I don't know why they put me on a panel with this dude. First of all, but I was on a panel with the sheriff of Rankin County at a church somewhere in Mississippi, and one of the statements that he made was that there are good and bad apples when it comes to policing, which is one of the things. Which is one of the things I can't
sick of
stand when they say that shit. Good and bad apples, and they're good police and bad police, and something, and there's a few bad police, and they ruin the impression of everyone. But the reality is that why is it that they feel emboldened to be able to do the things they do if there's somebody there that's holding them accountable? The reality is, and this, because he shared a whole bunch of hokey stories, and this guy used to be this and that. Now he loves the police.
The police athletic league and all of that. I sat for
here's a black guy who loves the, I'm like, okay, dog, like, get out of our face with that mess. And so he shared those stories at the time. That was probably around 2013 or 14, something like that.
Mm.
It was a little bit after that. It was probably like 2017. And the way that we were looking at the situation is, bro, like, no, these dudes feel empowered to do these things, to be bad apples, because most of y'all are, y'all at least condone or facilitate the ability for them to do that. You're not holding them accountable, and so in that regard, man, policing, and the culture that exists within it, particularly in counties like Rankin, and really throughout the state of Mississippi. If the DOJ expanded their investigation to investigate law enforcement throughout the state of Mississippi, they would uncover exactly what they're looking for. Because from county to county, from city to city, from town to town, you see a disproportionate number of black folk being stopped, being searched, being arrested, being over sentenced, and a number of these things from county to county in a disproportionate way to the amount of crime that has been committed. What they say?
Look at what CNN in this opinion editorial. And just to be clear, so we giving credit to where the writer Grace Elizabeth Hale is the Commonwealth Professor of American Studies and History at the University of Virginia. All right, so now down here to and this is just research, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sheriff of Rankin County, Bailey. Bailey's own long career in law enforcement suggests one potential point of origin for the problems in Rankin County. In the early 1990s, he served as deputy under Sheriff Silas Goon Jones in Simpson County, Mississippi. Bailey has alluded to Jones as a mentor, yet Jones had a reputation for terrorizing black people. Now, here's watch this. After Jones died, that's old boy mentor. The U.S. Justice Department confirmed that he killed a black civil rights activist named Benjamin Brown in 1967 when he was working as a Mississippi state trooper.
Wow.
Credible allegations.
What did it say?
Right here. Credible allegations, including statements by alleged victims and the FBI, suggest Jones's misuse of his authority continued after he became sheriff.
So think about that for a second. Think about that. This dude killed a civil rights activist in the 1960s and then became sheriff after that. And continued to terrorize people. And this is the culture under which another person who eventually became sheriff
of another municipality, another county,
and who this was your mentor,
right?
This is the person you celebrate, and now you're over a department and you are teaching again the same tactics as I stated during the slave patrols. You're teaching the same tactics, with more sophisticated technology at your fingertips, weaponry, the ability to y'all cutting off your body cams, y'all got drop guns, y'all got ways to lie and say that a dog hit on a car. Because that's one of the things that would happen in Pearl. They'll stop you and say, "Can I search a vehicle?" You say no. Okay, we're gonna get the dog squad. We're gonna get the K9 unit out here.
You got the K9, yeah.
And we're gonna have the K9 run around your car and say that the K9 hit on your car, even if the K9 didn't hit on your car. And now we're going to force a search on you.
Right.
To violate your constitutional right, to circumvent your constitutional right. And that's Pearl, but Pearl is in Rankin County. And so, you know, and a lot of times all these dudes, go ahead, you go ahead.
No, what I was gonna double back to get you to talk more about the conversation that our I guess you say our bigs in terms of our entrance into Tougaloo.
Right.
When we got to Tougaloo, David Winters, T Ware, James Rankin, Suave, all them dudes that was like sophomores and juniors. And anybody, all of us were in one dormitory.
Right.
I remember vividly them saying, "Hey,
don't go over there.
Don't go over there in Rankin County."
Bro, they used to talk about Rankin County like how Mufasa told Simba, "Don't go to the Badlands.
Don't go to the Badlands.
Don't go to the Badlands." That's how they used to talk about Rankin County, dog. And like, you don't know or understand until you get there that it's, you know, it is very much a different type of place. When you go into the courthouse as an attorney in Rankin County, there is an air of oppression that you feel when you walk in there. And the judges that used to be over there, Judge M. Finger was one of them. He was ruthless. He was ruthless as a judge. And so when I say that the DOJ, when they need to investigate it all, bro, because there was an abuse of authority at a number of levels in the way that quote unquote justice was carried out in Rankin County. And it was systemic. It is systemic. It goes from the executive branch and the law enforcement officers to the judicial branch. And in a lot of ways, it goes to the legislative branch and the mindset that is permeated through the culture of the policymakers who tend to try to favor Rankin County over Hinds County and try to have a Madison and Rankin County lording over Hinds County. So these are things that really happen. These are real dynamics that exist in our state, and they are things that my hope is that we don't sit back. And when I say we, I mean us collectively, us Black folk, don't sit back and allow this opportunity to go unturned. With the DOJ investigating these things, we should be making sure that if we have a story, that story is heard by them, that is heard by them, and force the issue in this case. So,
dog, look at this. This is gonna be my last time I'm sharing something from this, but
that's okay.
Look at this. February 2023, a few days after Jenkins and Parker were attacked, the Rankin County Board of Supervisors gave Bailey a $21,000 raise, making him the highest paid sheriff in the state. That November, he ran unopposed for a fourth term. About 30% of his voters, 30% of voters in this overwhelmingly white majority county still found a way not to vote for him by either leaving the race for sheriff blank or by filling in a write-in candidate. But nearly 30,000 people chose Bailey as sheriff. They voted for him.
And so that speaks to the culture where, for those who don't know, a few years ago, I remember vividly there being Klan flyers going up in people's yards where they were recruiting people in Rankin County. And Rankin County is a stronghold. for the Klan. It is. It's a stronghold for them, and I would imagine that if you got them as a stronghold in your community, that you probably also have some on your force. There's that, the FBI did a investigation a few years ago that determined that there was a number of folks are practicing white supremacists who sat on many law enforcement bodies. If that's true in Florida, then it's true in Mississippi.
Yeah.
If it's true in Alabama, then it's true in Mississippi. It's true in Louisiana. It's true in Georgia and all throughout the Southeast. And so it would be ignorant of us to believe that some of these men who were practicing these things, who probably didn't name themselves the Goon Squad.
They probably got it from Sheriff Goon, Silas Goon.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, these my guys. Them was probably your hitters. You know what I mean? These the guys that you send out there to do anything. And so to claim ignorance at this point as the highest ranking official, for that to somehow be a way. And before you were the highest ranking official, you were just another one of the guys. So there ain't no way in the world that you could go all that time and be unaware of what's happening in this department and somehow rise to the level of the lead in that department. That would be no way that could take place.
Cooperate.
Right. Because the fraternity of police wouldn't allow that to happen.
Right.
Wouldn't allow that to happen. And so in that regard, we call bullshit on Rankin County feeling that this, you're not sorry about anything other than the fact that you got caught doing a thing. If you could have gotten away with murder, you would have gotten away with murder in the instance where y'all shot the man in the face. But because he lived, and because he was able to survive it, and because his family acted when he lived, and because the story went national, you now are being held accountable in ways that others throughout this state are not being held accountable because, for whatever reason, the situation or the issue has disappeared where they are. But a lot of these officers go from Pearl, get in trouble in Pearl, go to Richmond. They go to Rankin County. They go to
they make their way. They make their rounds. They make their rounds until something dies down, or they get to that retirement age, and they ride off into the sunset, and they start doing some private security details or something like that. And look, just to keep it a buck, man. We have friends who are in law enforcement. Like, I sound like a white person. I got police officers that are friends. Like uninformed. You know what I'm saying? Uninformed. And we've had these very difficult conversations with our friends who are in law enforcement. Like one of our frat brothers, Cora Pounds. I had Cora come sit on a panel.
Yeah.
And Cora spoke. Cora talked the same way that we talk.
Yeah.
And he does it in a way where he is often, I would say, he is often the person that police officers hate because they know that he's going to do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate the officers that do the right thing. Some of them immediately come to mind when I was working with the Jackson Police Department, as far as when I was doing the setting up the citizens review board,
right,
for Jackson. Eric was one of the officers that was always solid, man. He was always holding them accountable in a way that made it clear, like he understood who he was and the position that he had and the voice that he had in the capacity that he sat in. So I always appreciate him for standing up and speaking up for what was right.
Yeah.
Chuck, I know that we've talked a lot about Rankin County tonight.
We got some other things that we definitely need to address.
Yeah, some more housekeeping to do, and it kind of goes again to the heart of the way a lot of times investigations are conducted, a way that the system functions, and that's, we cannot let the night go by without acknowledging the life and untimely death via execution of Marcellus Williams, who was executed tonight in Missouri when Missouri's governor um, failed to intervene in the matter.
Mm-hmm.
So, Missouri's governor, Mike Parson, had the ability to grant Marcellus Williams amnesty. I don't know why these things always come down to the 11th hour, but he had the ability to grant Marcellus Williams amnesty and refused to do so. In spite of the prosecution saying, don't do it, the defense saying, don't do it, and the family of the victim saying, don't do it, because we don't believe that he is the person that did it based on what the evidence is reflecting. The Innocence Project ran a campaign to highlight. They conducted investigations. The DNA evidence that came back indicated that he was not present at the scene in question on the night in question, and these things resulted in Marcellus's life being taken tonight. The final statement he made that he wrote down was all praise be to Allah in every situation, with 3 exclamation points. He's maintained his innocence for over 20 years, even until his final moments on this earth, physically. And it's a very, very hard pill to swallow, that we go from talking about the injustice from the policing standpoint, which is the executive branch, and having to have the DOJ investigate that, to the way our justice system disproportionately, according to the Innocence Project, arrests, convicts innocent Black people to the tune of, most of the cases that have been overturned, I think about 75 to 80% of the cases that are overturned involve Black people. And so yeah, man, I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that tonight.
No, definitely. And I wanted to give a shout out to our sister Angela Dennis for the blog and the article that she's written. If you're looking to take a read through this is on the blackwindowchaser.com blog section. And Angela she's been going crazy on the articles, but this was definitely one of those ones that it makes you think, like, the Innocence Project and the other nonprofit organizations that work around expungement and that work, around overturning wrongful convictions. And the other book I've been reading a lot is the Bible.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult thing to do while reading, like, you read the Bible and the Fire Next Time and listening to Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin. Like, it's a lot to process. It's a lot to process, but I think it's very valuable for the next iteration, like these next 40 years, like we talk about. But if we took one thing from the Bible and just said, like, man, we're gonna be nice to people, like,
just be kind. I mean,
just be kind.
Think about it. Technically, even Jesus was wrongfully convicted and executed. I'm just being like, this is the way. This is the way that things have happened, and I'm by no means am I comparing anyone. But what I'm saying is that this fervor and desire for the punitive way that that justice or injustice is administered is something that, bro, has it's permeated times beyond even ours. But you would think that as we become more sophisticated, that we would do things differently than we did at the time when people were stoning people. But Rankin County again, and places like that, and places throughout the country. I mean, whether it's Rankin County or big cities, I mean, the mentality is often still what it is as it relates to us. I don't know why it is that nobody can feel compassion to the extent that only one person had to say, "I'm going to stop this from happening." And
one person
with the power to do that, they don't stop it. Even with the people saying to him, "It's okay for you to stop this." If the victim's family is telling you to stop it, why are you still going through with it? Who beyond the victim's family is deserves retribution? I don't personally subscribe to or support the death penalty. I don't. But
and that's what I was thinking when we started, messaging about the case. It was like, all right, you don't want to release him. You want to make sure that he's punished for the quote unquote crime that he committed. Just leave him on death row,
so that there can then be a further investigation into the matter.
Right.
And if in fact he did not commit this act, which the DNA evidence does indicate he did not commit it,
right,
then allow him to go before the prosecution, who felt that there was questionable at best evidence presented against him at the time his trial occurred over 20 years ago, and allow this man the opportunity to be exonerated in his lifetime. And so
that opportunity has now been taken away.
Yeah, man. And I ain't gonna lie, man, it's hard. It's heartbreaking. Like, after I wrote my little piece about, like, I wrote the piece I posted it at 5:32, dog. I went to sleep because I didn't want to be awake knowing it at 6 o'clock. And honestly, I have avoided talking about this case because of the way that I felt affected by every time I saw it. And feeling like there was nothing that I could actually do to stop it from happening. I did not feel like it was going to, like, and I saw how many people were getting behind it. And I'm so proud of the people who did get behind it. But I just knew in my heart of hearts that if it's left in the hands of the men and or women or the people who have no empathy for us whatsoever, to decide whether we live or die, then we're going to die. And I felt that since the campaign really started being pushed for the last few months. And it's a very, very helpless feeling to see the train, to be standing on the track and see the train coming, and knowing that nothing is going to pull you off the track no matter how hard you fight. And that's I don't want to discourage people from fighting as a result of that. I want people to continue to fight, but it just was a hard thing to accept and deal with, dog. No lie.
Yeah. It makes me think about the young men that I saw in the Aaron S. I'm gonna try to find the actual name of it. I think it's just the most dangerous cities in Mississippi by Aaron S. And it seems as if that's that's his that's something that he covers quite often. But he goes and he does it in a way to where he asks questions to the people that are in these neighborhoods, and he with this particular set of questions, one of the last questions that he asked each opposing group, like they this side versus that side in every city, and all of them, it was two questions that made me appreciate his style of journalism. He said, "How does it ever stop?" And then the other question was, and he was talking about like the violence. He said, "How does it ever stop?" The other question was, "Is this the life you want for your kids?"
Mhm.
And I couldn't even understand how the answers that some of these guys were giving came from the same person.
Really?
It how does it ever stop? Oh, it ain't gonna stop. He have a son. I'm a youngster now. 16 years from now, he gonna be 16. I'm gonna be by yada yada skip the whoop the whoop, and I'm gonna get somebody to kill him.
Mm.
And then same dudes now. You got any advice for somebody that's considering jumping off the porch right now? Don't do it. Stay in school. Get you some money. Stay in school. I'm like,
so even though you know the solution, you're not seeking
you're
a
not
solution.
willing to, you're not willing to engage in activities that get you closer to realizing the solution for yourself.
Yeah, I know that for sure, man. I am not a in looking at how these things have played out, dog. Like I just don't think that I don't want to write people off as you know what I mean.
Because honestly, that's what the Goon Squad does or has done.
Right.
That's what our law enforcement agencies have done. They write off whole communities.
Right. I want us to have hope, and I think that there's got to be a way for us to do that. But hearing a dude, I ain't never had no ops before. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I don't even know when ops started happening, but I'm glad like we didn't live in an era like where ops was a thing.
You had people that you cheered. They went to the rival school,
right?
And we gonna play sports against each other.
But you hearing young people talking about their future,
right?
When participating in something that really would prevent them from being able to have a future. Talk about 16 years from now. Like it's like surviving 16
the way you living. Yeah, the way you living, you might not be here.
Yeah, surviving 16 years and embracing a lifestyle that is of a nature that doesn't lend itself to living for 16 years is a question within itself. Like that might be the next question he should ask is what makes you think based on what you're doing or what you're involved in that 16 years from now that you're talking about actually exists.
Yeah, man. I know that this is a very heavy conversation, and I think it deserves more thought. And I know that there are people out there that are making investments into places and spaces that prevent some of the types of situations that we've discussed tonight.
Shout out to PAI and the credible messengers, strong arm.
Yes.
brothers and sisters like that throughout the state and the community.
Yeah, man. PAI. I mean, and the you got a lot of usual suspects. I know that
Yeah,
Mac does a lot of work with the ARC, where they
yeah,
have they got like open gym.
yeah,
And young people are able to pull up, they can hoop all night.
yeah,
And what Mac does with Mississippi Move, Mac will set out the food. And when they take a break from hooping, they'll come over, eat, chop it up. Mac breaks down, a couple things just to try to impart a bit of knowledge around, like civic engagement and social responsibility and caring for your community and not the opposites of these things. So
yeah, man. You absolutely right. Maybe we can get the guy to pull up that did the interviews, and chop it up with us on Nightcap.
I think that's a great idea, man. I think what we should probably do, maybe like go from the Black Window Chaser YouTube,
Yeah,
and then interact under his post and maybe do like a DM on Instagram or something like that.
we could do that. We could do
Yeah.
that. One more
Because
thing.
the Jackson that we know, dog, is like
It's not like that at all. I mean, I ain't in those places where that be happening, dog. I've never experienced any of that, but it's because I'm not seeking it out, I guess, in that way.
I don't even know. Like, man, we went to Birdland and we went to the upper level.
Yeah.
And those places at the time at which we were, being a visitor.
Yeah.
People was like, y'all went where?
Yeah, that was the place. Like those were the places where, you know what I'm saying? Like
y'all did what?
They red flagged those places. You know what I mean? But we like
y'all registering like known dope boys to vote. I'm like,
yeah, we're not scared of the people in our community. You know what I'm saying? And so like if you're not involved in that, you don't have no reason to be scared. Usually,
right.
Like usually you don't have any reason to be concerned. I mean, like obviously, there are situations where maybe like people get jacked and stuff like that, but I ain't in no places where, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm usually to myself, dog, or I hang out with the people I hang out with. I interact and engage, and when it comes to like serving the community, that's when we go out into the community and try to bring people to where we are. You know, they say meet the people where you are, where they are. That doesn't mean that you got to lead them where they are. You know what I'm saying? You can meet them where they are and say, "Hey, come with me. I'm gonna show you something different."
Right. Come on, come on your head before you go to bed.
You know what I mean? Just because you meet people where they are, don't mean you have to lead them where they are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. And I think that's a great closing point. For those of us that are having this discussion, whether it be internal to your family or if it's more of a situation where you're having it amongst your neighbors and community members or organization affiliates. It's something that we have to spend some time thinking about, and we have to spend some time not only thinking about it, but like truly like trying to strategize and develop funding funding strategy.
You hit it on the mark, Chuck. Because I'm gonna ask you this.
Yeah.
Why is it that folks who organize in crime have the ability to organize a lot of these young men and women?
Bro, how you got everybody on the corner at the same time and you know that they there?
You organizing it. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's the case, we need to be understanding them strategies and how can we apply them to organizing in a way that is for the upward mobility of the community and the collective community. Like,
that is a feat in itself.
Yeah, it is. It is. And like I don't think it's one we should be turning our nose up at. I think it's one. It's just like it's. I hate to say it like this, but it's just like when the NCAA finally realized, let's just go ahead and do the NIL deals, because these schools been paying these folks under the table anyway. These boys need to get paid. These athletes, men and women, need to get taken care of and compensated for this billion-dollar industries. We're going to go ahead and organize it now. We're going to structure it. How then can we look at what's being done, even if it's done from a perspective that maybe we disagree with, and organize and do it in a manner in which is still appealing to young people, but bring them into this side of the fold before, because they're gonna get organized by somebody,
right?
One way, you're gonna get organized by somebody.
Provide them with another type of understanding of how they can move through life and be a part of their community.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like we're really trying to get these young people and our communities to where the money reside, man.
That's what we're trying to get to the money.
That's all everybody's trying to get to. I hope that y'all enjoyed the conversation tonight. This has been Nightcap Knowledge. We're here every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Appreciate CJ for pulling up. Next week, I think we're going to have a guest from one of our strategic partners. As a matter of fact, when we close it out tonight, I'll drop a video so that you guys can learn a bit more about what we did in DC. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nightcap Knowledge. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.